In this video, I'll show you a step-by-step process on how you can create a coloring book on Canva using AI so you can start selling it on Amazon KDP. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. I've been publishing for over 8 years. I've made over $1.6 million from self-publishing. So if you want no BS publishing advice from someone who is actually doing it, then make sure to subscribe. All right, so let's jump right into the video. So we're creating a coloring book because it's a very profitable niche in the Amazon KDP market right now. And it is also an easy place for beginners to start. So the first thing that you would want to do before you start creating a coloring book is that you would want to have an idea on what the book's dimensions are going to be. So for example, this one, my idea is an adult coloring book. My dimensions are going to be 8.5 by 8.5 inches. So it's going to be a square and I would have 100 pages for it. The reason for this is because the coloring book will have 50 different photos, and whenever you or your kids try to color it, whatever kind of pen you use, it'll tend to bleed to the back of the paper. So that can affect the picture on the other side if it isn't separated by an entire page. So that is why it's 100 pages. The binding would be paperback and the interior colors would be black and white. Now you would want to head over to Canva and click on create a design at the top right. At the bottom, you will be putting the custom size. So by default, the measurement of the pages in here is set to pixels, but you don't want pixels. You want it to be in inches. So you would just click on inches right there. All right, so we're not going to put 8.5 by 8.5 inches, and it's because of several reasons. One of it is bleed. Now, what you want to do is head to Amazon KDP's website. Then under book formatting, you would find format your paperback. So click on that. And then under that one, you will see set trim size, bleed, and margins. Now, if you would scroll a little bit down, you will see the definition that bleed is a printing term that refers to when printed items on a page, such as images or illustrations, basically reaching to the end of the page without any white space around it. Now, there are different measurements for a page when you're going to create a coloring book with bleed. So it's not the dimensions of the book you're going to put. Because as you can see, if you click this and scroll a little bit down, a chart will pop up and show that the size of the page that you need to have if your dimensions are 8.5 by 8.5 is 8.625 by 8.75 inches with bleed. So that is the number that we're going to use. So now you want to head back to Canva and put in the exact measurement. So we're going to put 8.625 inches for the width and 8.75 inches for the height. After that, just click on create new design and there we go. All right, once you create the design, you need to set the margins next, which is where the bleed starts and where the photo will be cut once it gets printed out. So go back to the KDP website and scroll a little bit down in the same place you got the measurements with bleed to see the margins. So it is right here. So the margins have different measurements for different page counts. Since we are using 100 pages, it's under this part right here. So we'll use 0.375 by 0.375 inches. Now let's set that one back in Canva. And normally I have my ruler right here at the left side and at the top. But if you don't have this ruler, you could always use the hotkey, which is Shift plus R, because this is very useful for the margins. Next, you just set it to 0.375 inches for the first two, which are the left and the top, by dragging lines from the ruler like this. There we go. And once you have your first margin set at 0.375 inches, you will do the same for the one at the top. By the way, it's fine if you go a little bit lower than 0.375, like 0.374 or something, so long as it doesn't go above, okay? So you want to make sure to keep the margins tightly close for the images to be in. Now drag the margin from the top. Okay, so both the left and the top sides have margin now. What I will do next is use these lines as guides for the right and the bottom sides, because you're not going to find 0.375 inches in these parts. So I do it by clicking on elements right here, and then I'll search for shapes. Then once I have the shapes, I will click on square. Then I'll put it here at the top left to make sure that the square is aligning with both margin lines. Now the square is perfect, so I'll just move this here and drag the line up to where the edge of the square is. So there we go. Same thing for the one below, and there we are. Now let's remove this square because we're not going to need that anymore. So the margins are done. I'll duplicate this page until I have 100 pages. So I'm gonna save you the wait and I'll just cut to it when I get to that. All right, so now I got 100 pages here and it's time to make the interior of the coloring book. So just go back to page 1. And we don't have an idea on what we're going to make specifically yet. So we only got the main thing, which was an adult coloring book. So you need to go to Amazon's website to look for what kind of coloring books they're selling. So we are now in Amazon. So let's search for some books. Before you do that, you need to sign out of your Amazon account to search for what books are really working. The reason why is because when you're logged in, Amazon will show you biased results that are based on your account's search history. So it wouldn't really be reliable. It's not actually what other customers are seeing. So just log out and maybe go incognito when you're doing this research. Either way works. So now let's search for the books. So since we only have an idea that it's going to be an adult coloring book, let's search for coloring books for adults. Then you go and hit enter. And as you can see right here, I'm using an extension called Bookbeam, and this shows me the BSR of the book. The amount of people searching for this keyword, how much royalties it's earning on average per day, and the age of the book. So Bookbeam is a very useful tool. It's optional, but if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link below this video. But specifically, I want you guys to look at this one. Mindfulness coloring book for adults for mindful people. What Bookbeam is showing is that it's the top 1,023 in books, and it's listed for 2 years and 8 months already. And it's earning $1,269 per day at 113 to 165 books sold per day. So if you multiply that by 30 days in 1 month, the author is making about $33,000 in royalties alone. And that is just from this one book, right? If the author has multiple books in the series or under this pen name, then they could be earning a lot more. So let's take a closer look at how well this book is doing. It says here that it has 103 pages, somehow similar to the one we're currently doing. And it has been posted on the 10th of September 21. It also has the exact same dimensions as what we're doing. So this is a very great reference to what we can do. And it has some images at the back of the cover showing the customers what to expect inside the product. So let's check that too. So it's patterns of some animals and trees, basically a nature themed adult coloring book, and it definitely has been performing well. So now we got a good idea of what exactly we should make. So let's use the idea and start creating the interior of our book back in Canva. Now to generate these photos via AI, you have to click apps here at the bottom left, and then I want you to search for this very good AI tool that generates photos that you can use to create coloring books called Magic Media. It's this one right here. You can see that there are different styles in here, and if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the aspect ratio and the prompt box right here at the very top. Now, what you would do next is to click on graphics, and under the styles, click on see all. There are a lot of styles you can choose from here, but I prefer to use the monoline style under the simple category since it's the closest to a coloring book style that I like to have. Right? So you can use other styles, but I really recommend the monoline style when generating a coloring book photo using this app. So let's generate something like the one we saw earlier from our reference. So let's put a deer with pattern inside of it, coloring book photo, thick lines, and let's see what it will generate. By the way, for the free version, you will only get 50 credits for this app per month. But if you have the pro version of Canva, you can get up to 500 credits per month with Magic Media. Each generation costs 1 credit, and you will get 4 images per generation. So now click on generate graphics, and let's wait. So we got the results here, and by the way, I'm on dark mode, so the images might look a little inverted to you, but it'll be fine once we select one. So you can choose multiple of them. You could just choose one of them as well. If you happen to choose all of them because they look very good, it'll save you a lot less credits that you could use if you're going to make 50 photos of these sort of images, plus the cover of the coloring book. But for now, let's click on this one and see what it looks like. So here it is. It looks nice, yes, but it's not really there yet, right? So I'll select another one. So I'll select this one, and it is not there as well because of this part right here. So you don't want these shaded areas because some people don't like those, but it's AI. You can't really expect something perfect right off the bat, so you will have to regenerate. You can also keep it as long as you include in your title that your coloring book has shaded or grayscale areas because some people actually like coloring those. So technically you could use it if you want to, but for now I will go and regenerate it. All right, so I'll go back and create a deer with intricate pattern inside of it. No color, no shading, just for these things to get done, but don't expect it to happen 100%. Then thick lines, same thing. Then generate graphics, and I'll skip to it when it's done. All right, so we have 4 new images. So as you can see, sometimes you just can't help it. You know, it still tends to have these solid black and shaded parts, like the nose, the eyes. But let's just go ahead and enlarge this photo. And as AI improves, which they are improving rapidly, you know, we are gonna get better and better images over time. So now we have the first page, but I'll save you the wait and I'll cut the video and I'll come back once I have all the pages generated. All right, so now I have all 50 photos for the interior generated. But like I said, it's AI. It's not gonna be perfect with some minor flaws like this one right here. You know, if I click on this image right here, it's supposed to be a mountain, but you can see the resemblance of it being a mountain, but the pattern inside are not really symmetrical, right? But then there's some grayscale shading here in the trees too, which you can actually fix on some websites like Photopea. So AI is not perfect, but once again, it's getting better at a very rapid pace. And eventually we're going to be able to create a perfect calling page right within AI. So let's just go back and click on grid view right here at the bottom because I want to show you something. So if you will look at the page number 1 in this grid pages, you will see that the photo is there and not on the second page, even if my page count is 100. That's because the first page of the interior is always on the right side and the second page is on the left. Basically, odd numbered pages are on the right and even ones are on the left. And if you put your first photo on the second page, the coloring book will be printed with the images on the left side, which isn't the way most books are printed. So just remember to generate the first photo in the first page and carry on with generating more on different odd numbered pages. All right, so now that the 50 photos are complete, it's time to download it. So just click on share and then click on download and you will see right here the file type set as PNG. Just click on the drop down and choose PDF print and let it stay on RGB and then click download. Once it's downloaded, it is time to create the cover photo of the coloring book. All right, so for this one, we're going to need a template. And normally you would be getting it from the Amazon KDP's website, but for some reason it's just not working for me today. So there is an alternative website. So you would want to head over to bookowl.com. And basically this serves the same purpose as the template generator on Amazon KDP's website. So you want to write this website down. It's called bookowl.com so you don't forget it later. But once you're on the website, click KDP cover template generator. And once you're there, put in the dimensions. So width is 8.5 inches and the length is 8.5 as well. And the page count is 100. And there we go. The paper type's just white. Then just type your email address twice so it'll be sent to you. All right, so we have our template now for the cover. And as you can see, it's an 8.5 by 8.5 book. And the reason why we need to download this first is because of this, the page layout size or the full bleed size. So this is the measurement that we'll be using to create the cover. So it's 17.475 inches by 8.75 inches. Now let's go back to Canva and click on create design, then click on custom size again, and then remove the size you did earlier for the interior, and then change it to 17.475 for width and 8.75 on the height. And remember, keep it in inches and then create a new design. All right, so we got the blank page here now with the dimensions as per what the cover template said. So the next thing you do is upload the template on the design and enlarge the size throughout the complete edges of the page. So right here, you see all the margins around the template and even where the barcode should be at by the time it gets printed out. So what you should do here next is get a square by clicking on elements, then shapes. Then put on the left side of the template and expand it up to just the second line of the spine. So there we go. Just color the square black and you're good to create the actual cover photo. So to create the cover photo, do the same step as you did to get the Magic Media. So click on apps at the bottom left, then look for Magic Media, click it, then choose any style you want. But this time, instead of being a graphic, you're staying in images. There are also many styles in here from photography to digital art and then fine art. But since this is a coloring book, what I recommend you choose is these two right here, anime or concept art. So I'll choose the concept art option. Next, I'll prompt in the image I want to put in the cover. So I'll put bear with pattern inside of it. So you want to make it vivid because this is the cover and this is how you get the attention of people. So vivid colors, thick lines for a dog coloring book. And before you hit generate, you want to scroll down first and make sure that the aspect ratio is square. You don't want it landscape, you don't want it portrait, you want it square, okay? So that is the shape of the space that you will be putting the photo in. And once you made sure that the aspect ratio is square, you want to hit on generate image and wait for the results. So once again, this only costs 1 credit to generate. All right, awesome. So here are the images. So I'll just pick whatever looks the best. For me, I like this one. So I'll choose this and this will be your book's cover photo. And then I want you to expand the photo to the very ends of the remaining space of the template like this. Now, once you've expanded the cover photo, let's close this one first. Next, you want to click the photo and click on this one right here for the transparency, and you will lessen the transparency of the photo by dragging this button. The reason why is because you would want to make sure that the face of the bear is still within the lines of the bleed. Now that we're checking, it is still within bleed. So checking the other side, it is also within bleed as well. And at the bottom, it is still within the bleed too. All right, so once you have the photo right there, you want to click on transparency again and then put it back to 100. All right, so now that you have your photo perfectly positioned, it is time to add the text. So click on text at the left, then hit add a text box. Then make sure that you move your text right here on the black side so that you know what you're typing. Then expand the font size. So there we are. And then you'd want to type in coloring book. Well, technically you're free to type whatever you want for the title, but for me, I'll type coloring book first. And then you're free to select whatever font you got here. Canva has a lot of fonts for free. So you can see there's a lot of free fonts that you could use right here, but I will use the Stencil font because it fits good with the feel of our coloring book. Now, once I got this coloring book text here, I'll make sure that it's expanded well, and then I'll move it over here at the part where the image is. All right, so once it's over there, the next thing that you would want to do is click on effects so we can choose the outline and make the title thicker and easier to see and read. And then feel free to change whatever color you want for the outline as well, but I would choose black here. Now you have your coloring book title, make sure it's expanded. And once it gets to a certain point that it feels too big, you can click on the photo of the cover, then adjust the transparencies again to the point that you can see the template. Make sure the title is still within the bleed boundaries. So as you can see, this letter K on the word book is a little bit on the verge of being at the end. So I'll move it away a little bit so that it's a little further away. So there we go. It's now safe from the bleed boundaries. So bring the transparency of the photo back to 100%. And if you remember the theme of what the interior is like, it's more leaning on the nature kind of vibe. So let's put it right here below the coloring book title. So let's click on the title, then click on this one, which is the duplicate function. Then put it a little below the actual text and then make it smaller than the title. Next, expand it so it's just in one line like this. And just make sure that it's still readable. And we now have the cover, so it is time to download this one too. Same thing as the way we download the interior earlier. So you want to click on share, then download, and the file type should always be PDF print, and then this one stays at RGB. After that, you want to hit download and just wait till it finishes. So the cover photo is downloaded and it's time to upload the book on Amazon KDP. So go to Amazon KDP's website. Once you're there, click on create. And you'll see different choices right here from Kindle ebook, paperback, hardcover, and the series page. But we're creating a paperback, so I'll choose that one. Now we want to enter the book details. So let's start with the book title. And when making the title, you want to keep on with the theme of the book. So in this case, it is nature. So I'll put in Serene Nature Adult Coloring Book for Mind Clarity. And the subtitle is where you want to kind of describe what the book is about. So for me, I would put relax and unwind with the beauty of everything beyond the busy life. All right, so once that's done, let's move on. So for the series, you don't have to put anything here. So I'm just going to leave it blank, same as the edition number. For the author, it's fine if you put in your real name, or if you want to use a pen name, that is okay too. So I'll put my pen name or my pen name related to the coloring book. So I'm just gonna put Penelope Greenleaf because it's kind of nature vibe there. So there we go. For the contributors, there's really no need to put any contributors because you're the only one who did this. And for the description, it's actually okay if you create your own description. It's also fine if you make one using ChatGPT because it can really be a big help using AI. But one thing I would say is don't just copy paste from AI, make sure you rewrite it a little bit because you still want to put that human touch in your description, personalize it. But either way, I'll just cut the video until I finish my description. All right, so the description is now done. So let's move on to the publishing rights. So for the publishing rights, just click on you own the copyright and you hold the necessary publishing right. And for the primary audience, it says essential explicit images or titles. So just click on no. And for the reading age, since this is an adult book, you will click on 13 years for minimum and 18 above for maximum. So the primary marketplace is Amazon. And for the categories, you would want to click on the categories, choose categories, and find the best category and subcategory that best suits your book. For this one, it's going to be crafts and hobbies and home. And for the subcategory, there is one for coloring book for grown-ups. And it has animals in it and it has patterns. It also has flowers and landscapes too. So I think those are good categories. So let's just save those. Now for this section that says, what does your book classify as? Basically, you can choose whatever that applies to you. So it makes you choose between a low content book and a large print book. Well, a coloring book is not necessarily a low content or a large print book. It's somewhere in the medium content book. So you don't have to pick any of these. Now for the keywords, you basically want to put, other potential search phrases that people are searching for when they search for an adult coloring book. So I would put something like best gift for adults. I would also put adult coloring book. And I'll leave it at these two, but you basically want to make sure to max out the 7 boxes here. Because this way the book has more chances to be seen when people are going to search for the specific keyword that you added in here. For the publication date, basically when your publication is going to be released, so just leave it as is. Now for the release date, you want to leave it as released for sale now. So when Amazon KDP finishes reviewing your book, then it would immediately show up in the marketplace. It takes about 72 hours to get your book verified, but that's pretty rare. Like it's rare that it would take 72 hours, but it could take up to there. Okay. Most of the time the book gets verified in 1 to 2 days. So save and continue. Now here at the paperback content, this is where you get a free KDP ISBN. So ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number, and you can get a free one from KDP. So you definitely want to do that. So now this book has its own ISBN. For the print options, we will leave it at black and white interior with white paper because that's what typically is used for coloring books. For the trim size, let's click on 8.5 by 8.5 inches, the size of the square coloring book that we just made. For the bleed settings, like we did earlier, we want to make it bleed. And for the paperback cover finish, it's up to you whether you would choose matte or glossy, but I'll leave it at matte. Now for the manuscript is the interior of the book. So upload your manuscript, the one that we downloaded the first time. So the coloring book interior has been uploaded successfully, and it is time to add your book cover. So since we made our own book cover with Canva, you just want to click on upload a cover you already have, and then upload the file there. Now the cover has been uploaded, so you want to scroll down to AI generated content. And for the AI generated content question, you should not lie on this. But the thing is, you don't have to worry. You know, your book is still going to be published when you answer yes. Your book is still going to sell. Amazon's not going to penalize you or anything like that. It's just a survey that Amazon is doing to basically see how many books are being created with AI. So just be honest, you know, and you're good to go. So click on yes that we used AI generated content. For the text, I did the text on my own, so no AI needed, so I'll click none. For the images, it's all of them, so click on many AI generated images with minimal or no editing. And in here, you will name Magic Media Canva, as that's the only thing that we used. For the translations, we didn't even need any translation, so you just click on none. And now it's the book preview. So let's click on launch preview to see what it looks like when it gets printed as a book. So this is how everything looks like. For the cover, you know, it's just complete black on the left, and the photo on the coloring book takes up the right. And this is what I've been, you know, trying to do, so it's all good. And look at this one. This is the very first page, and you will see that it's at the right side of the book as compared to if you're going to put the first photo on the second page. So if we click on that one, it's going to show us our patterns on the right, but it looks good already. So let's click on approve here. Now scroll down to the summary, and here you'll see everything that you selected just to make sure you've made the right choices. For the ink and paper type, it's black and white interior with white paper. For the bleed setting, click bleed. For the paperback cover finish, I choose matte here. The dimensions are 8.5 by 8.5 inches, a square, and the page count is 100. So this is how much each of your book costs to print in US dollars. So it's $2.84, and it's these in different currencies. Once it's all done, just click on save and continue, and we'll head on to pricing. Now we're on the paperback rights and pricing. So here you will see the territories. So let's leave it at all the territories. And for the primary marketplace is Amazon, so just leave it at that. And for the pricing, normally for starting authors with no reviews, I recommend you just price your book low, like $5.99, $7.99. And as you gather more reviews, you know, once you get to a certain point in terms of how much reviews you have, how many books you sold, then you can increase the price of the book because you have social proof, right? But for now, I'm just going to put the book at $6.99, and you can see that it calculated the printing cost here. And this is how much a royalty will be for every marketplace on Amazon. All right, so for the terms and conditions, as you can see, it can take up to 72 hours for your book to be available in every single marketplace. But again, it rarely is 72 hours. It's usually faster than that. Normally, it's just a day or two. Now, you wouldn't need to request a book proof once you have previewed the page, because when you click on request proof, let me show you what happens here. So it saves and continues, right? Then you see that you're buying your own book. So if you would want to see how your book looks like in the physical form, you can do this, but you don't have to. So let's go back to the pricing and scroll all the way down. And you just want to click on publish your paperback book here. And there we go. So your book is published. Now we just have to wait until Amazon reviews it, and it'll be live very soon. All right, guys, so that is the step-by-step tutorial on how to do this. But for whatever reason, if you don't want to go through the process of making the book yourself, you just want somebody else to make it for you, then you can always pay a freelancer to do that. Fiverr is the best website to hire people like that. So I'll leave a link below to some of the Fiverr gigs that can create these books for you. So if you guys want to do that, you can go and check it out. And if you guys want to learn how to start marketing your book so you can start actually making money, then check out this video next, and I'll see you there.